So I love discovering new talent in and around Michigan, and I was very grateful to have a friend show me the press release for our next guest. Here to discuss her series of conscious conversations is the host and recent MSU graduate, Miss Abrielle Mason. Welcome to the show, Abby.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So Abrielle is Gabrielle without the G.
Exactly.
Love it. Well, fantastic. I really appreciate you being here. So let's kick off. Your website states that you celebrate your uniqueness. Your website states that you celebrate your uniqueness and implement it in your authentic lifestyle. But, kind of at your young age, how did you evolve into this way of thinking? What do you mean when you talk about uniqueness, and what was your path to getting that kind of consciousness?
Yeah, I mean, first off, my name's Abrielle. I've never run into another Abrielle. So just embracing that name and taking ownership of it was a big part of me growing up. When I came to college, figuring out my life and what I wanted to do, I started in neuroscience, and I just found that I didn't really love math and science anymore. So figuring out that next path and really listening to who I am and what I'm about was a big move. So spring break 2019, I had an opportunity to go to Costa Rica with a group called Startup Island, and it was a personal and professional growth program. There I just really tapped into myself, and ever since then it was really life-changing. But I switched careers, I got into user experience, and here I am today doing all the cool things.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what, I studied abroad in college, and it having that kind of global perspective at a younger age helps really sharpen your lens and your tolerance and your understanding of kind of more than just what you're used to. And so I applaud you for doing that. That makes all the difference. And I, as the father of two college-age sons, it's very confidence and being comfortable in your skin. And so that really resonated with me, to celebrate your uniqueness and implement it into your authentic lifestyle. So many people are searching for their authentic lifestyle into their 30s and 40s and 50s and beyond, but to do it at a young age is really admirable, which is why I led with that question. Yeah,
and it's exciting once you get there. So I'm advocating to help those people find that opportunity.
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So you went to Michigan State University, right? How long ago did you graduate, and what kinds of things did you study?
Yeah, I graduated December of 2020 during the pandemic. When I was there, I studied in the College of Communications, Arts, and Sciences with a focus in media and information. And then I had a concentration within that for human-computer interaction. So very detailed, also minors in graphic design and entrepreneurship. So, I like to keep busy and have different varieties of things going on.
So you probably define yourself, though, as a creative, right?
Yeah, definitely creative, or in the UX world, where UX-icorns, studying lots of things.
Right. Yeah. And so your website, again, actually, they've got to cut to the chase. What is your website?
Yeah, my website. So I own my own company. It's called Verum Esse. It's VERUMESSE. It's Latin for true being. So that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm hoping to find. So my website is www.verumesse.com.
Got it. And on that, I think it's the landing page talks about your work that you have on a day job. You've got your own company. You talk about what you're currently reading, and you also talk about hobbies, which I think is fascinating. Talk about, your authentic lifestyle and being your true self. Can you share, these facets of your world? What do you do in your day job? What does your company generally do, before we get into the details of what you're about to launch, what you're reading and why, and the hobbies that you have?
Yeah, starting with work, I'm a UX designer, user experience designer for GravityWorks Design and Development here in Lansing. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I really do research and content strategy and studying how to make the website better for users. So that's my day job. Okay. Company, again, was Verum Esse, but I'm really focusing on professional success coaching, and my target audience is college students. So love to go into that some more. Yes. What I'm reading, I just find really fascinating books like Atomic Habits, the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Currently I'm reading Attachment. So it's the different relationship attachment styles, just to study up on different interesting books. So I like to keep my audience up to date what I'm reading, and have book recommendations. And finally, hobbies. Oh my God, I don't know where to start. But right now, I just joined a belly dancing class here at Foster Community.
Really? Me too.
Yeah.
No, not so much.
Just trying different things all the time. So
that's great. Well, let's talk about the coaching. So I'm fascinated by that. So I did a long stint in corporate America, unplugged, and kind of became, a coach, a consultant, right, for small business owners. And I felt like I was qualified because I had a lot of runway in executive leadership and corporate America and all that kind of stuff. So I felt like I had this perspective that people were interested in. You graduated a couple of years ago and you're going to teach other people how to do stuff, right? So how did you know that you wanted to coach, and how did you get yourself prepared to have the confidence to tell people that you're worth listening to at your young age?
Yeah, I think it really started again with that Startup Island launch. They've since rebranded to Third Nature, and I just met a great community of people through that. I mean, this community is about 2,000 people now. So within that, I found some people who had studied at the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching. And I was like, wow, what an opportunity to be a coach and like be able to share my story and help people just figure out themselves what they're looking for in life and how to set goals and achieve them towards that goal or towards that lifestyle. So yeah, I started, applied and joined IPEC for short.
Yep.
And I'm still studying there, but it's been transformational. I've done so much personal growth and professional growth, clearly starting a business. But on top of that, I think just the opportunity I have here to, again, share that story and just show people that, there is opportunities out there. It is possible to do whatever you want to do, and building confidence is the key.
And so you're about ready to launch, or you're really on the cusp of the precipice of having this series of conscious conversations. Talk about the name. Why do you call it a conscious conversation? Who do you expect to be in the audience, and where and when are these going to be taking place?
Yeah, so I actually have to give credit to my good friend Brian Helfman from New York, who runs Third Nature. He actually came up with Conscious Conversations back in March of 2020, right at the peak of the pandemic, with the intention of having a space for people to share their thoughts and feelings and just explore different topics. It's just a safe space to grow your mind and be more conscious in living and the way you converse with other people. So I just thought that was a really great opportunity, and he does it virtually. And I thought, hey, they're in New York, I'm in Michigan, can I bring Conscious Conversations to an in-person live event here in Michigan? My friend was like, yeah, go for it. So I started my own version of it here, June of 2022. And since then, it's been phenomenal. I mean, these conversations have gone really deep. We started with inspiration as our first topic, and just exploring like where to find inspiration. What is inspiration look like? How can we aspire to inspire others? And my target audience is college students or young adults who are just trying to find more meaning in life and get excited by that, but anyone is welcome to join. So I'm relaunching it 2023. It's the last Tuesday of every month, except October and December. It'll be the week before that for holidays and whatnot. But yeah, I'm hosting it out at the East Lansing Public Library at 7 p.m. in some meeting rooms 3 and 4.
Okay.
So there's some signs. Yeah, and I can direct you that way. But the topics are, again, on my website. That was www.veramsa.com/conscious conversations. And you can just add the event right to your calendar if you want. Topics are listed. Really excited to share those with people.
Nice. And so how long does one of these conversations last?
Yeah, it's about 1 hour. I mean, it's just a free flowing, I'm going to spitball some questions out there, but I let it free flow. So whatever people want to share, if they come up with their own questions, great.
So it's not a lecture or a speech. You maybe do a quick intro and then ask some probing questions, and then it becomes just really a discussion. Right.
It's really, I'm focused on the organicness of it.
Right.
Let it flow naturally.
And so you said it's young people and college students, and kind of what I didn't mean to steal any of the thunder, but that whole concept of building confidence and feeling comfortable in your skin and knowing which direction you want to point yourself, right? So, because there's no right or wrong answers, but to try to be your authentic self and try to think some of these big questions through might help them feel a little bit better when they leave the building than when they walked in.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway, is just an opportunity to voice your opinion, hear other people's opinions, and then just kind of, in between those months, when you're not in the conscious conversation, just a time to think back on that and reflect and see if your values have changed, or, maybe they're the same, but just really honing in on who you are and what you think about that topic.
Right. And I have to ask, so give me an example of a couple of the topics that you'll tackle.
Yeah. So January, we did our first one in goal setting, because as you know, most people set a new goal with the New Year's resolutions, whether it be a mantra or specific goal or just an intention for the year. But we talked about goal setting and how does that work? What does it look like? When we're not able to accomplish these goals, how can we improve on them? And just different assets about goal setting in the end. And I think at the end of the conversation, every single person in the room had a new goal that they've come up with from that conversation. So that was pretty inspiring.
Okay.
Yeah. And this month, February, it's Valentine's Day is a big thing with this month. So I was going to talk about modern love and just dive into all the areas of what's going on with modern love and how do young people find love and what's their experience has been like. So I think it's very different from 50 years ago, of course.
Right.
Yeah, just a great conversation in that area of modern love.
So how did you get connected with the East Lansing Public Library as your venue?
Actually, I just reached out. I said, hey, I'm trying to put together a place to host these conscious conversations, gave them all the information about what I was doing, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to host you here. Also free parking, so I think that's a big bonus. Right. Yeah.
And how many people do you usually expect for one of these events?
So typically it's been around 8 or 9 people.
Okay.
Pretty good. I trained as a facilitator, and that's kind of a sweet spot, But yeah, I'm hoping to grow it. I would love to have more facilitators if anybody's interested in that.
And facilitating?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not just participating as an audience member.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. I think if we grow bigger, it would be great to separate in 2 groups and then come back and share all of our findings from the conversations.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So I have to ask, and this is a little off script, but mentors, who outside of maybe a parent or someone who's responsible for mentoring you, who's helped you shape who you are?
Myself, honestly.
Okay.
I've done a lot of self-reflection. I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of studying and just answering my own questions from within and just being truly honest with myself. And I think that's really built my confidence in being able to, launch a business. That's huge. It's a lot of a commitment. It's a lot of figuring it out on your own. But I can attribute mentoring from my friend Brian Helfman and my first coach, PV Tabarak. She's great. So I've had my own mentors, but I think in the long run, it's really been myself, surprisingly.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So, okay, so you're out of school a couple of years and you've got all of this going on. Have you thought about fast forwarding mentally? What does your world look like in 10 years or, when you're 40 or, whatever? Where are you headed?
Yeah. So I think the whole world is full of possibilities. So what I'm envisioning is maybe I'll have my own coaching practice where I have multiple coaches who do different areas, and grow in that. And I think my audience might change over time, but my whole goal is just to help people figure out what the heck they want to do and bring happiness and success to their lives, and finding the answers within. But I also want to be running more workshops and just, I want this to be my full-time thing. Right. And just be out there spreading joy and courage and self-awareness.
So I put this part of your world kind of in the bucket of mental health, community mental health. And I think that nobody really needs a sharper focus on mental health than high schoolers everybody needs it, right? Yeah. But I think we have a particularly fragile, 12 to 25-year-old band of our population. And that seems to be, obviously a little older than that is your target, but does that drive you in some way? Are you conscious of kind of a pent-up need for these conscious conversations to get these people to say things out loud and process challenges that you're interpreting that they're having to help them break through instead of silently struggling with something? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I think, just as you said, 12 to 25, we don't know what we're going to be doing, what our interests are. We're trying to figure ourselves out, but we've got people in our lives, like you mentioned, mentors as maybe our parents or teachers or anybody. I mean, they're giving us opportunities and guiding us in different direction, but is that really who we want to be? And I think social media plays a big role into it too. And just really figuring out what and who you are is big. And I think that's where I can come in and help. I just think that,
I can't, it's nobody's fault, but I can tell you the last 8 or 9 years have been quite a time to live through, right? Between politics, pandemic, social media, and all of the things that go along with all of that. It's a confusing world to be in if you're going through adolescence and young adulthood and trying to figure out, where do I belong? Where's my voice? Where do I dare go? Because you just feel so exposed, whether it's, again, political or I don't know. This resonates with me, which is really why I wanted you to be on the show. And I applaud what you're doing. And I can tell you that if your audience is only 8 or 9, hopefully this podcast will make it 80 or 90, because there's a pent-up demand for this and people just don't know. You don't have the exposure yet. So my hope is that we fan the flames of your viewership or listenership or participation level. So I'm hopeful that's the case. Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be at the forefront of it and really, really optimistic for the opportunities in the future. Right on. Is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about this particular series or other endeavors that you're working on before we wrap up? I mean, just again, the website's www.veramsa.com/conscious conversations. But hey, be you, do you, enjoy life. Well, that's fantastic. I don't even want to muddle that up, but thank you for joining us here, Abby Mason, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll have you come back for a follow-up sometime down the road. Yes, thanks so much, Chris. Have a good one.